Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code and the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, February the 4th, 2014, at 5:45 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session item A, consultation with attorney pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071 and 551.072, 2, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Texas Government Code Chapter 551 and Texas Government Code 551.072, in the deliberation of real property concerning possible exchange of property with the University of Texas at Brownsville and/or Texas Southmost College.
I move we go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for the many blessings you've blessed us with. And Lord, today we ask you to bless the family of Fernando Ruiz, who argued his position so passionately here in this place. Lord, we ask you to bless them, lead and guide them. Lord, we also ask you to bless the family of Norma Tavar, who is also politically involved in our city. Lord, we ask you to lead and guide this commission tonight. Help each of us to discuss the issues before us with respect for each other, hearing each other out, and help all of us to come into unity, making decisions that are good for Brownsville. Lord, we thank you and bless you for this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brad. And I think as far as the mayor's report, following up with that, I would like to make a brief report. For some of you who may not know, Brownsville happened to be the recipient of one of the awards that we vied for with about another 100 cities across the nation. And we were selected as one of the 7 recipients of Strong Cities, Strong Communities Award. What does that mean for us? How do you distill that down to us? It's basically a projected effort by the federal government in order to get the community, much like what Brad says, is to have the unity and the working and the collaboration together of all this wonderful commission that we have, along with all the people in the city of Brownsville, to make it a stronger city and a stronger community. I've had the pleasure of dealing with a young man by the name of Richard Lopez, who is with the Housing and Urban Development out of the San Antonio office, who's going to be the leader and the head of this particular effort. They will be coming down with a team of approximately a dozen folks from the various departments in the first part of April, somewhere like April 2nd or 3rd. He advised me today that he would like to see some preliminary work, and I told him that I would get together with Ramiro and with Mr. Kabler in order to, and I asked him what specific areas they would like for us to focus on, And quite frankly, there was like 3 different areas that they were talking about and hoping to get the involvement of the commissioners that might spearhead each one of these efforts. The first one was the ability to make this a healthy community, and we're talking about bike and hike trails and green spaces and park spaces. And so I told him that between now and the beginning of April, we would identify perhaps maybe a committee, depending on the wishes of the commission. I don't know that it takes any formal action, Mark. This is a program that's federally selected as a grantee, but I do want to put my best foot forward. I happen to have been in Washington for the mayor's conference, and I was able to have a conversation with the secretary for HUD, Sean Donovan, and we were expressing the ability of Brownsville to become a model city with this program, as it is one of the 7 cities that was selected, so that we could be a model for other communities to do the things that we're doing. The other thing that they would like to focus in on is the educational components, the job components, and they wish to be a facilitator. What it really basically means for the city of Brownsville is to have access to the different departments, whether it's transportation, whether it's HUD, whether it's energy, that would allow us to be singled out in some fashion that says, you know what, these people are making a concerted effort and they have a collaborative effect going through. So I feel that this is a golden opportunity for Brownsville to be able to have, one of the things that happens to us in the political scene is that we don't have access to a whole lot of agencies. And when we do, we have, the ability to talk to an administrator, but never to someone who really makes it happen, or if it happens so slowly. So they're looking at, what's happened in many other communities, but they feel like they can make Brownsville sort of an exemplar, if you would, of the healthy communities. How do you facilitate and collaborate with Texas Southmost, as well as UTB and the BISD to provide training that will equal to jobs as they're coming in, and not just train people and kind of, as the labor secretary says, what we don't want to do anymore is train and pray that hopefully these guys will get a job somewhere. We look to the employment or the corporate sector and say, what do you need? Now we'll train you for that. And so some of these career people that college is not in their plan, they will have good paying jobs at a much earlier stage without maybe having to go through some of the expense of college, which perhaps they're not really interested in. And then the last thing he mentioned to us, and that, Commissioner Villarreal, this goes right along with what we've been talking about, is you have a beautiful city, you have a beautiful downtown, and I realize that that's a challenge, but it's an opportunity for the city of Brownsville there's private corporations like they've done in Austin and they've done in San Antonio. There's all kinds of really, what I wouldn't say the quick lanes, but I would say that there are fast lanes that would allow us to move forward. If anybody who's been living in Brownsville for a long period of time, it's taken us a while. And one of the reasons that I think this is a golden opportunity is because not only will we get the ability to have, us looking at these challenges, but it will also be the opportunity to know that we can get grants, that we can get other monies from other agencies to facilitate this effort. And I think that if my vision holds true, that we can get a whole lot of things that will be very visible to the community. But again, this is going to take not only this commission to work on, which I have all the confidence in the world that we can get it done at this level, but it's going to take a lot of you out there who may not be here this evening, but who may be watching. You need to get involved. You need to get yourself, it's not only committees and different organizations that are formally set up, but if you can have the time and you have the inclination, I know that every one of these commissioners would appreciate their help in their district as well as the at-large and as well as myself for the entire city. So if you have any interest in what I'm talking about, I would urge you to contact your commissioners or the city secretary and say, listen, I would like to be involved in the educational component, in the training component, or I would like to be involved in the downtown revitalization project, or I would like to be involved in the parks or recreation, or green spaces, the bike and hike, the healthy community efforts. I urge everyone to get involved. You know, it's a lot easier to talk about how we can't get somewhere, but it's a whole lot easier to talk about how we will get somewhere. It's important to all of us. And I think once you acquire ownership of the effort, you'll understand that it is really, to do public service is very gratifying. With that, I will conclude. Commissioners?
I'd like to thank everyone for finishing up the registration of the challenge last week. We are underway in the 5th season, and please check the website for all of the free classes and educational pieces that will go on for the next 4 months. Remember, it is on the Access Brownsville icon. If you click on it, you will find the link to the challenge. This weekend, I believe, is the Public Utility Board. Am I right, Art? That is partnering with HEB on Paredes Line Road. So if you have to do grocery shopping, check out Saturday at Paredes Line HEB, and there'll be 3 stations within HEB that the Public Utility Board does a great job on with respect to education, healthy menu choices, recipes, and lots of great giveaways. So check it out.
I would like to report that this past Monday, Commissioner Longoria and I attended the Mr. Amigo announcement ceremony in Mexico City. Commissioner Longoria was the moderator of the event, and I had the honor to speak on behalf of the commission, the mayor and the commissioner, and the rest of the city of Brownsville. Mr. Amigo 2013, Mariana Seoane, was very appreciative to have received such an honor and to be amongst such renowned recipients. I expressed to her that the entire city of Brownsville was anxiously awaiting her arrival with arms wide open, ready to share with her our culture and the strong relationship we have with Mexico, namely our sister city of Matamoros. I would like to once again thank Mr. Luigi Cristiano, the current president of the Mr. Amigo Association, his board of directors, and everyone that took part in this event and the Mr. Amigo Association.
Thank you. Thank you both. Okay, any other commissioners report? If not, we'll go to item number 3.
Item number 3, proclamation, Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week, and recognition of Christy Salazar. If you'd please step up. Tell her where to stand.
Want to take a picture? This is a very special proclamation. I'm going to try not to cry. But Christy is a very, very, very strong woman who has just been like a ray of light for our community. And she had a wonderful, just 2 wonderful boys. One of them had a heart defect and who has passed, and he's an angel. And I'm sorry, I'm going to cry. But your work and your hard work, give me a minute. Your hard work and your dedication to this in his memory is just so admirable. And on behalf of the entire city of Brownsville, we are here for you, and we are just so proud of you that you are continuing this fight to find the cure and raise money for research. So let me read the proclamation. I'm going to try not to cry. I'm sorry. Proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, declaring February 7th through the 14th. Thank you, Charlie. Through the 14th to be Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week and recognizing Christy Salazar's contribution to congenital heart defect awareness in our city. Whereas congenital heart defects and defects in the structure of the heart and vessels, which is present at birth, CHD is the most frequently occurring birth defect and the leading cause of leading cause of birth defects worldwide. And whereas newborns and young athletes are not routinely screened for heart defects, delayed diagnosis sometimes leads to lifelong or even disastrous consequences for those affected. And whereas Christy Salazar, a board member of the Children's Heart Foundation, Texas chapter, has worked diligently to bring congenital heart disease awareness to our community. Whereas Brownsville residents, Christy Salazar and her husband, Paul Salazar, parents to Alejandro and Joaquin, suffered the loss of their son Joaquin at 4 years of age due to complications as a result of his third open heart surgery. Whereas as a result of Christine Salazar's efforts, the Congenial Heart Walk has been held in Brownsville over 3 years, during which has raised over $20,000. Now therefore, we the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in the charter of said city, and on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby declare February 7th through the 14th to be Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week in Brownsville, Texas. Further, we extend special recognition to Christy Salazar for bringing awareness to congenital heart defects and encourage all citizens to observe this week and appropriate activities to celebrate life, remember loved ones lost, and honor dedicated health professionals, meet others, and know that they are not alone. Done on this 4th day of February 2014, Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
Thank you so much for this proclamation. This means a lot to me, especially today, as it is Joaquin's 4-month anniversary since he went to heaven. Dr. Gowan also means a lot to me, as she was the one that actually broke the news to me when I was pregnant with Joaquin. So thank you so much for everything that you did for my family throughout that time. Joaquin touched a lot of people. He was 4 years old, but he touched so many. He inspired me to fight, and I'll keep doing so. And there's just one thing that I want y'all to know is that congenital heart defects are all over, and we just want a little bit of awareness. We want more research money, and that's what we're doing. The Rio Grande Valley Congenital Heart Walk is going on its 4th year, and this year we are going to have it in Harlingen because we do want it to be a valley-wide effort. And we've actually raised much, much more money than that, and we are so, so proud of our efforts, and we just ask that you continue to support us in the future. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Employee of the Month.
Mayor, members of the commission, please help me welcome the Employee of the Month for February, Arnoldo A. Garza. Arnoldo's here, and his family is cheering in the background. Arnoldo's been with the city for 18 years. He began his career with the Event Center and the Animal Control Center. He also was appointed to the Traffic Department in 13 years ago on year 2000. He's been there 13 years. He is recognized for his dependability, his leadership, his trustworthiness. He's able to be depended on, to be called when we have emergency situations, and lead a crew of people that have been able to restore traffic lights and things like that. He's very knowledgeable about the traffic laws and traffic maintenance in our city. And for that reason, we wanted to honor him with the Employee of the Month for this month. And I'll get him his gifts. The pin, the watch, and his plaque. And of course, he's eligible for the Employee of the Year and our banquet in December. So congratulations, Arnold, and he's got a few words.
Hello, it's an honor to working with the city. It's like my job. The city is it's a grateful being working with the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you.
Our next item is the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau Quarterly Report.
Mayor, Commissioners, Mariano Binayala here, President and CEO of the Brownsville Convention Visitors Bureau, our annual report. Board of Directors, I'm not going to read everything. I mean, you know most of them, so I'll just point out one towards the very bottom. He's a board liaison, Commissioner John Verrial, so you do have a representative that's been showing up to the meetings. Go ahead. Some of the highlights, we've had a citywide marketing meeting in February where we got a lot of people from throughout the city to tell us what is it that they would like to see us do and how we could promote them. And we had the Chamber of Commerce, BEDC, people from the airport like Mr. Larry Brown, Performing Society of Performing Arts, people from the Palo Alto, et cetera, Viticulture District. So we had a lot of input, so that way we're not flying blindly. In May, we had our National Tourism Week, which we're going to have again this year, and that is when the state of Texas celebrates National Tourism Week. And what we do, we invite our partners or some of our attractions to come to the CVB and set up shops, so that way people can drop by and see what they have to offer. In September, I was very lucky to be appointed to the State Board of the Texas Association of Convention and Visitors Bureau. I was also certified in group sales and communication technology. One of the big items that we've been doing this past couple of years, and the mayor and some of the commissioners saw the first Brownsville Tourist Ambassador Program. We've had almost 600 people go through this program, so it's working. In a few minutes, I'll show you how we've increased viewership from our local audience. Some of the highlights, I want to thank the City Public Works and Mr. Luna also from purchasing. Our building, our landscaping was way behind. It was lacking. We kept saying that we should be the jewel of the city. We should be the #1 attraction when tourists come up, and I tell you what, we've got nothing but compliments. The roof was redone. It's we have red mulch. They come by every 2 weeks. And now we can actually say it's looking fantastic. One of the things that we want to do, the board has asked me to do, is be very involved with the community. For instance, we helped a lot with Holiday Village, Ciclovia, Christmas Parade, Camille Playhouse, Brownsville Better Block, the United Way. My wife and I were campaign co-chairs this past year. We finished our term last Thursday. Thank you. And Brownsville Beer Fest, somebody made fun of this, but it's a big festival now. It was very, very well attended, and I couldn't believe we had so many beers, and we had the longest bar in the state of Texas that evening. One of the things that we're going to add, and it was my mistake, was we need to really publicize, and we have it on our webpage, is our bike trail, National Recreational Trail. It starts at Linear Park, goes all the way to Palo Alto, and it's nationally recognized. And now we have an article on our webpage, and that was my fault. I fell asleep, but it won't happen again. Advertising, we do a lot of advertising. We promote at Texas Monthly, Texas Highways, with the state of Texas, and also Texas Tour and Meeting Guide. Some other ones is a Texas Traveler, Meeting Planner Guide, and the bottom right is a magazine that we concentrated on this past year. It's called Texas Now, and this one is throughout the coastal bend. One of the things that my board and I are trying to do is get a lot of people from the coastal bend that can drive the 2.5 hours to Brownsville and maybe spend a night or two. But if nothing, spend the whole day, go to all our attractions and what have you, and leave some funds down here. We did some advertising in Mexico with Azteca. Our target was Coahuila, Nuevo León, Tamaulipas. We reached 9.2 million people, 2.2 million homes, and we had how long was it? 30-second spots for how many weeks? 3 months worth of television advertising in this section. So we're thinking of doing it again because that's a lot of people we're reaching and at a very economical cost. Our online advertising, we had a total of 4,900 impressions. Postal requests, if you notice at the very bottom, what the postal request is what we call direct mails. That means we get a request from, say, Miguel called us from Guadalajara, wants information on Brownsville, and we actually send him an official visitor's guide to his home. Our analytics, if you see, we have a 3.54% increase from 2012. And the demographics, here's where I wanted to point out how our Brownsville Tourist Ambassador Program is working. By country, the United States is high. 41,000 have come to our webpage. Normal, Texas, California second. But the city, if you notice, Brownsville is now at 8,600 have come to our webpage, where 3 years ago, it was like only 500 or 600. So our Tourist Ambassador Program is really, really working. Trade shows we attended was the United Airlines call center in Houston. The reason we did that is so a lot of your stewardess and what have you can promote Brownsville. We are doing a lot of RP, recreational park activities direct or expert. Directors, these are the people that tell people, their residents, where to go, where are things to do, and that we're very active with them. Of course, the park activity directors also came to Gladys Porter Zoo. We were involved with that. And I attended the American Bus Association conference in January. And what we're trying to do with that one, at one time we had tour buses coming into Brownsville. They stopped, and we're trying to see if we can get them back over here. And what they do, they bring a whole bus load or 2 bus loads of tourists. They come to Brownsville, and then they go to the island or vice versa. And I'm trying to get them back down here. Miguel attended the Feria Internacionales de Americas in Mexico City. We want to have a presence in Mexico, and we go with the state of Texas. We had a fantastic write-up. We had the Tropical Travel write-up, and what these people are, this is all 20 counties are involved. We had 40 people from throughout the 20 counties come to Brownsville. At first, it was 15, and it kept growing and growing. And they have a picture of Charlie, our city manager, Kabler, and they couldn't believe that our city manager was actually there welcoming them. And they went to the Stillman House. Larry Loft gave them a tour of the Market Square and what have you. So we have a very good write-up, and 40 people are now our ambassadors throughout the 20 counties. Also, a fam tour. We had a Teleclub de Viajes. It's Channel 4, Cable 114, Sky Media, and he's from Guadalajara, and he had an audience of 8 million. And what this gentleman does, he goes to certain areas, and of course, it's a fam tour. He gets familiar with us, then he goes, and he's very popular, and he spoke highly about Brownsville for about 2 weekends, which is free advertisement. So we're very excited about that. We also had Texas State Travel, what we call the TIC, out of Harlingen, come to Brownsville and do the FAM tour. And the reason we're excited about that, because when visitors go into their center in Harlingen, they know what to say about Brownsville, what we have to offer. Some of the sporting events we've had come to Brownsville were the 2012 World Hispanic Softball Tournament, USSSA baseball tournaments, South Texas Youth Soccer Association 2013 Bats and Boots tournament, which we're trying to get back, and what that is, they play softball, and in the evening they have a dance, dancing with their boots. At the very bottom, if you notice, I have the State Farm Golf Tournament. Well, the Ambassador Program is one of those that we teach the people from Brownsville and the business community, hey, why don't you think about bringing something from your business into Brownsville? And one of my board members actually heard the message, saw the Ambassador Program, and says, you know what? Our company has a state tournament for high school or collegiates in San Antonio. Why can't we bring them to Brownsville? So we worked with him, and sure enough, we actually had the tournament here in Brownsville. They stayed in Brownsville. The tournament was held in Rancho Viejo because it's a tour-sized golf course. But the kids stayed here in Brownsville, and we're hoping to bring them back. So the Tourist Ambassador Program does work. And thank you, Mr. Rick Armendariz, one of my board members. Stand up. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. And also with me present is Dr. Anthony Knopp, who's also a board member. And in a minute, Dr. Knopp would like to say something, so I'll bring him up in a minute. I'll save him. But the other section, this one particular slide is something that I want the general public to really pay attention to. I went to BISG school board meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I challenged them, as I'm going to challenge everyone in Brownsville, that please think of Brownsville and when you have a high school reunion or you have an association, think of us, because if you notice, the class of 63, they had 260 people. They spent 3 nights and they left $105,000 worth of taxes in Brownsville. Look at Texas Retirement Teacher Association. They had 80 people from out of town. They spent 1 night, left $10,000. It adds up. And these small entities left $200,000. If we can keep doing this, it'll reach $1 and $2 million. So that's why we need everybody to start bringing their associations down here to Brownsville. Walk-ins, very, very important. We had 6,845 walk-ins, and what that does, it averages to three members in the party. They average $135. Total at the bottom is $3.18 million these people can leave in your city. And this is a formula that's sent out by the state, not by Bean Ayala, believe me. The next one is the city hotel occupancy tax report. We increased from 2012 to last year by 4.6 to $1,380,000 and $400, which is great. Even the tough times, we're still doing well because everybody's promoting Brownsville, and we need to keep doing that. So some of the new advertising we're doing, I'm sorry, my bad. We were waiting for the, if you see the source is the Office of the Governor of Economic Development and Tourism, Source Strategies. This is their, the states, but they haven't come up with the last quarter. This is the third quarter, and if you notice, we had 2.4 increase in the number of rooms available in Brownsville. The revenue increased by 5%. Estimated rate increase is $1.26. Occupancy was increased by 0.1%, and revenue per average rate per average room, revenue per available room was 0.83 cents. So we've been increasing. We've been holding our own. Any questions on the annual report? We're very consistent from last year to this year. So, any questions?
I have a quick comment,
Yes.
Dean. I was fortunate enough to attend this knitting workshop with the Brownsville Historical Association, and one of your staff members was there collecting information for your calendar,
Yes.
which I think is really cool because it was a really cool workshop. And my question to them was, I'm looking at it here on my iPad, and I think I love the way that your calendar is set up, by the
Thank you.
way. I was wondering, do we have a link on Access Brownsville to get to this?
We haven't put it, and Commissioner Gowan had pointed something else out to us. Miguel has been updating our webpage, and that's why I said we added the National Recreational, and we can add that one.
It looks
So
really
right now
cool.
would be the
Yeah,
time.
good job.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what Dr. Gowan did, because sometimes we're overwhelmed. We think we hit everything and we miss something. So feel free to let us know.
I'm not a visitor, but I'd love to know what's going on.
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Knopp, if you'd like to come up, I would appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Bean, and nice to see all you folks here tonight. The reason Bean wanted me to come up here is to tell you a little bit, because I came on the board over a year ago, but in other words, I was a new person to the board, and my experience being on the board, you know, what was it like before? What were my impressions of the Convention and Visitors Bureau? And you know, pretty much what I would think of in any town that I'd go into. They provide maps and directions and that kind of thing, and a border buttermilk at an occasional reception. You know, I just did not relate that well to the various other activities that they're engaged in. But boy, when you get on the board, you become aware real quick about a lot of things that they're doing. And sometimes it's like this report tonight. You know, we get this information bit by bit as we attend our meetings, but here it is all at one time. It's quite an impact. What they told me when I got on that board is what we're interested in is heads in beds. We want people to come and stay in our motels and hotels. And part of the reason for that is, I mean, it's good for Brownsville anyway, but that's the hotel occupancy tax that's a big part of our support. And we just plain want to attract visitors because that's dollars for the city in general. And more than that, though, we want to inform the local people about what's available in our town. What do we have that would make you want to visit Brownsville or stay in Brownsville? What are the things that you can do? And that's why we developed this BTAP, the Brownsville Tourist Ambassadors Program. I've been involved with that from the early stages. And I even got certified as a BTAP presenter myself, although nobody can equal Bean in performance of the BTAP. And for example, I got involved with, he mentioned the Teleclub de Viajes, Spanish language shows that they brought the guy up here and with his camera crew and everything. And I helped take a tour of the city, and we got over to the Dancy building, and I was trying to do it in Spanish, and then he wanted to interview me in Spanish, and well, you know how that goes. Hay museo, sí señor. Hay restaurante, sí señor. You know, I do the best I can. Anyway, just as an example of what's going on with the Convention and Visitors Bureau tonight, we have going on, and Bean and I are heading out there afterwards. We've got a Winter Texan outreach program going on, a welcome home Winter Texans. We thought we better wait till February to make sure we got them all home here. And there's a program going on out there at the event center right now, and there's, I know an early count was 250 people were there. So we want to let the Winter Texans know that we want them here because they bring the dollars too. Anyway, I appreciate the opportunity because you people put me on this board, and I'm glad to do it to serve Brownsville.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Tony.
Thank you, Doc. On the first quarter, and I'll do this quick, what we did, we redid our Brownsville Historical History brochure, or nature attractions, et cetera, et cetera. So these are very new, and we're going to be putting them out throughout the city, and we're going to have some here at City Hall and City Plaza. We already had a fam tour from Laredo, Travel Information Center. Oh, sorry, my bad. Which one was that one? Oh. Okay, we have our new visitors guide. We changed it. If you notice, it says there Fiesta Char Days, Latin Jazz and Cultural. We have 60,000 printed. We tend to have 10,000 for Mexico and the rest here throughout the United States. We tend to put them at local Chamber of Commerce, hotels, and Texas State Travel. And we also send them when Miguel goes to Guadalajara and Mexico City, he takes them with him and passes out a lot of them. And we also send the official visitor's guide to direct mail. This, I already know that we've sent 7,000 out last year. Hmm? Okay, go ahead. This year, we've already had on hits, 19,133 for the first quarter. It's a 41% increase versus the same time last year. And if you notice on the right, we're redoing our webpage. That's the new look. And if you go to it, you're going to find out a lot of new information. Go ahead. Texas Now, the Coastal Bend. Ms. Hinojosa was trying to be here today from the Fine Arts Museum. She's very, very pleased. They have very, very high attendance from us helping them advertise. That's the cover of the Texas Now. We've had great articles, and she's gotten a lot of people from throughout the valley and the Coastal Bend. So our advertising is working. We also have a new magazine. Mr. Jason Moody has it out, Vida, and it's very good. We have a winter tourist with an article. I believe Mayor Martinez and Dr. Gowan said you need to start getting articles in magazines. And here's another example. The winter tourist wrote about Brownsville, and so did Vida. Some of the trade shows we've already attended, Texas Master Gardeners in McAllen. And like I said, we always go to the RGV Activity Directors Trade Shows, and those are for all the RV parks throughout the valley. We had the TIC, Travel Information Center from Laredo, come to Brownsville because they want to start telling people about Brownsville. So that's free advertising we get. Henrik Lang from Denmark came, and we gave him a tour of Brownsville for 2 days, and he's already put us on his webpage and has written about Brownsville. One of the conferences I tend to go to is the sports event, and this is one of the events we were able to bring to Brownsville. It's called the Color Run. It had 400 attendees. Next year they expect 400 to 600. Already in walk-ins, we've already had 1,336 for the quarter, which it's more or less $475,000 that would be brought into the city. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Just wanted to congratulate you. When we ran into you at TML, Commissioner and I both ran into you at TML this past fall. And in our conversations with your organization and with the people that are involved with you around the state, and to be told that your leadership amongst their board and amongst your membership says a lot about you, says a lot about Brownsville, because you do represent Brownsville. So I wanted to take the time also to publicly congratulate you on that and everything that you do to promote Brownsville, not just here, but statewide also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
No, I'm just going to mention somewhere in my travels, and it's around the Coastal Bend, there's a Nueces Electrical Co-op, and I would ask you guys to take a look at it. It's got Charo Days as the cover. Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm going like, hey, that looks kind of familiar. And there was a nice article. I don't know who wrote it, and I don't know who took the pictures, but I thought I'd mention it to you because you might want to add it to your website or whatever. It's not to promote Nueces County. I mean, PUB would kill me, right? But it was just a nice article about Charo Days in Brownsville, so you might want to take a look at it.
And we will. And we had nothing to do with that, but it would be good to put it out there to let people know that we're
it's
being
a very
talked
nice
about.
picture of some young ladies on horseback and stuff like that.
Great.
So
I was
it's
going
good.
to say, was it you?
Huh?
I was going to say, was it you?
No, it wasn't me.
Bean, I also want to commend you and your board, your entire staff. You guys are worth your weight in gold. Without offending the other boards I serve on, I mean, hands down, you're the most active because you meet probably at least once a week in your committees, marketing committees. And a lot of people don't know or aren't aware of the things that the BCBB does because we are not their target market. Still, they try to include us with the BTAP program so we can sell Brownsville and help them and help the city of Brownsville. But I mean, everything from trimming the limbs on the trees, you guys are out there. I mean, doing stuff that you don't have to, but you do. So I want to congratulate you all, the board also. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I do have a great board. One of the rules that has been said by our chairman is you have to be a working member. And I'm glad that he holds them to it because guess what? Brownsville benefits. So I thank you very much. If there's no other questions, we have to get to at least 250 Winter Texas at the event center.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5.
Item number 5, consent agenda items number A through G.
Approved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 6.
Item number 6, consideration and action to appoint one member to the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation Board.
Well, we'd like to thank Mr. Ruben Gallegos, who is coming off the board. His term limit is expired. He served 8 years, 2 terms, and we have 1 vacancy. You have 6 applications in your folder, and they're all viable candidates.
Mayor, I'd like to appoint Commissioner Jessica Tetro to the 4A.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. My question, and I have nothing to do with the motion. In here, there were probably 6 or 7 applicants.
6 applicants, sir.
6 applicants. Now, if you are a commissioner, I know that you can serve on it because I looked at the bylaws and you called me on Saturday. Is a process that we don't, commissioners don't have to apply? I just don't know.
There is nothing in the policy that says commissioners have to apply, and I think there's been other commissioners that have been appointed to boards that haven't had applications that apply.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, now I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item number 7, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint one member to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board Committee.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'd like to fill a vacancy in the Parks and Recreation Board. Sergio Sarate, who has served for a long time in our department as the Parks Chairman, his seat's vacant now. And I have 1 applicant, Jolie Rubio, at this point in time.
Mayor, I would like to motion to table this appointment. There are a couple of people that I felt were interested, but were not able to get their applications in on time.
I think they were, from the past appointment, there were some on there that I think wanted to be considered at the next time. There was vacancies. I remember some from the last time that we appointed, so I would second your motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Before we leave these 2 appointments, I would thank all the applicants. I don't want you to understand that, there's all kinds of different committees here, but the mere fact that you have placed an application and you weren't selected does not mean anything or reflect on you in any sort of way. Please take my invitation that I told you about in my mayor's report about some of these stronger cities and stronger communities, to feel free to contact the city administration and say, well, now that you've got, those appointments filled up, we would like to serve in a different capacity. I know that the Commissioner of Villarreal would appreciate all the help you could get on some of the revitalization issues, as well as Commissioner Gowan would like some on the bike and hike trails and the green parks, and I'm sure all the rest of the commissioners would like some help too. So please do not be dissuaded from trying to volunteer, because I'm really trying to include everybody in this effort. Item number 8.
Item number 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2014-1587 to amend Chapter 22 Businesses, Article 9, Peddlers, Division 1, generally regulating door-to-door sales, providing penalties for violation of the ordinance, and dealing with related matters.
Mayor, Commissioners, the ordinance that you have in front of you was a joint project between myself and primarily Commander Etheridge with the Brownsville Police Department. What we did was to basically we're replacing the current ordinance on peddlers. It was obsolete. It referred a couple of references to the city tax office, which of course we don't have anymore, and other items. And we tried to streamline it and eliminate a lot of duplication. Basically, it provides that door-to-door soliciting can be no earlier than 10 in the morning, no later than 7 o'clock at night. If you're going to be a peddler, you have to get a license from the city, and depending on how long you want, it sets the fees for it. And there are special provisions for youth organizations, like the Girl Scouts, for example. They want to sell cookies door to door. They have to, a responsible adult has to get a permit. It costs $10, and if worse comes to worse, the chief could waive the $10, I suppose. But when the youth or the children are out knocking on doors, there has to be a responsible adult with them at all times. The other changes in the ordinance, basically getting rid of obsolete and repetitious parts, updating some terminology, and doing some reorganization so that one could start at the beginning and read to the end and have an understanding of the ordinance.
I have a question. I'm sorry. Did you say that Girl Scouts were going to have to file for a $10 fee
Well,
permit?
we're not picking on the Girl Scouts,
Oh.
but for the
I mean, I like my cookies.
yeah, well, no, but yeah, what they would have to do is a responsible adult would go to the chief to get a permit to sell the Girl Scout cookies door to door, if they're gonna sell door to door. And the fee for the permit is $10. The chief has discretion to waive it. And the ordinance would require that when the kids go to the door, knock on the door, they be accompanied by a responsible adult.
So then, because I know I've had some school children come by my door selling with their brochures, are they going to be required to also go?
It'd be the same thing, exactly.
I have a question for, is there a law that says that minors need adult supervision? Isn't there already a law?
There may be, we're making it express in this ordinance.
Well, I don't think we should, maybe we should reconsider that part, because I know there's a lot of school-age children that go with their parents,
Commissioner?
and so.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
John, I'm not an attorney. Don't pretend to be an attorney. My simple question is there a difference between fundraising and peddling?
Yeah, if you're-
Because, the kids, like Commissioner says, come into the house to sell the candy, that's a fundraising effort. That's not peddling. So the Girl Scouts aren't peddling their cookies. They're fundraising for their activities. So legally, is there a definition between fundraising and peddling?
No, not in this ordinance. If the Girl Scouts are going door to door selling their cookies, they are peddling under the ordinance.
How about block walkers?
They're not selling.
And that's why we set up a special provision for those circumstances when you have nonprofit organizations.
So
selling-
what's Orlando staff gonna do when they get slaughtered by 500 Girl Scouts applying for permits? And, I'm just saying, being practical. We've got 500 Girl Scouts that are gonna come apply for permits.
No.
Of course, somebody's gonna say,
Well, I
why
don't
don't
think the
you
Girl
waive it?
Scouts would be your biggest issue. I think your bigger issue is going to be these children that are going to be trying to go to their neighbors, trying to get like their 5 little neighbors to buy some cookies or some candies to go raise funds for their school. And so that's where I'm having a little bit of concern, and maybe we can look at the ordinance to
Commissioner-
revisit those kind of situations.
They're coming
As
on
opposed
Scout
to somebody
Government
that's
Day.
selling something for their own personal gain.
Yeah, for example, when you have the Girl Scouts, and I don't mean to be picking on
No.
the Girl Scouts.
As an example.
But not every scout has to have a permit. The group leader would have to go to the police chief to get a permit. The fee is $10, which the chief can waive. But that way, we have some control over who's going door to door selling.
I have a question. In any other cities, do they do that?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, this was, we had model ordinance or sample ordinances from 5 or 6 cities.
And besides updating this, John, have we had some sort of concerns from a safety standpoint as to the people who go door to door?
Well, we had issues, Mayor, Honorable Mayor, here in the past, I think, year and a half, where we had some people from, come inside the city, from outside the city, regarding selling of vacuums and creating disturbances at the door itself, at residents. We went out there, as a result, we had to give them warnings and so forth, and they threatened lawsuits, et cetera, for violation of their rights. We reviewed the ordinance, and that's where the idea kind of started to, we need to look at this and perhaps get Mr. Chose or one of the city attorneys to relook at it and help us perhaps clean up the language, streamline it. It's, in the actual ordinance, it does not say Girl Scouts. It says local youth organization. We can waive the $10. I understand your concerns. That has not happened. We've not had issues, even with the current permit application process. We have not been inundated with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or whatever. You know,
No,
there
but
is a little bit
they're
of common
still
sense that applies, and the chief wouldn't charge them, you know, $10.
But
you know.
this, we still have the Girl Scouts as the example, going out door to door, and so my concern is if you have this ordinance
Well,
now,
technically,
and it's gonna,
technically, they would be in violation with the old ordinance right now. They would have to be bonded, et cetera, as opposed to the new.
And I tell you what, with all due respect to Commissioner Longoria, I am an attorney, but my experience over the last several decades would be always the courts try to look at a balancing act, you know, when you're looking at safety versus, you know, other things. And so I just want to make sure, John, that at the end of the day, all the concerns, as best as we can, we probably aren't going to be perfect, but allows these young people that, I mean, you know, I mean, I see like at Sharp, I see, you know, candy bar fundraiser, and I'm sure that they probably go out there and knock on my door. I'm sure, you know. So I don't know that I have a solution for it, but, you know, were those things discussed, and was this the best we could do, or should we take a look at just a little bit more tweaking, if you would?
We did go through all the various permutations on this, and the general consensus was that we needed to have some simple permitting process, so that, one, the police know who's going to be out who's going to be out there going door to door, and the second, you know, to be honest with you, you know, if kid comes to my door to sell me a candy bar, I'm not going to ask to see his permit, and I don't expect to call the police if he doesn't have a permit. You know, he's selling the candy bar for school. I think you know, it's there in case we need it.
No, and I understand why you all did it. I mean, I am not questioning the need for something like this, because what happens is lawyers, a lot of times you end up with a lawsuit, and then all of a sudden you take a look at what you got, and it's all antiquated, and you go, gosh, I wish we'd have updated this.
Yeah.
And so it's a good idea to update it. I just want to make sure that all the concerns that we've been
you know, we tried to take into consideration as much as we could, and this is what we came up with.
I just really hope the Girl Scouts know that we're not.
I'm sure we can
we
reach out
support
to
them all the
those
way.
organizations and BISD and notify them of the change, just to avoid headaches down the road.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it just simplifies everything.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Close public hearing.
oh, it's a public
Oh,
hearing.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. Public hearing. Someone else, I'm sorry, Roberto.
Robert Estes. First of all, peddling started in 1882 for certificates in Great Britain. They had a problem because everybody was peddling everywhere in London. And in the 1980s, they decided to start issuing out licenses for peddlers. My question here is, yesterday I was in the library and a young man, I think he was in the second grade, came and sold me a candy bar. Was he peddling? Yes, he was, but he was with his father there. I also read that those people that are selling elotes and vehicles, they are peddling. That is part of peddling, and I'd like to ask that question to Mr. Shosi. Are those individuals that are selling elotes and vehicles peddling?
Not under this ordinance, no.
Okay. Oh, well, on the books, it says that they are peddling, okay? Another question is, will the people that are peddling have to have a comptroller's certificate?
Depends on what they're selling.
Anything they sell is taxable. So we have to also look at that issue, okay? They talk about the Girl Scouts. I was a Scout master, and they sell popcorn. Okay? I just want to get their point of view in there, okay? Another thing is that I think 7 o'clock is too late. Many people like to be not disturbed. I think it needs to be brought down to 6 o'clock. I think people are tired. They want to go home. They don't want to be bothered. This morning when I was at Whataburger, there are some people that are driving bicycles and they're carrying foodstuffs, and they're peddling. So they need to also be given that license. But there was a question that was brought up by a gentleman to me. He said, are people who come house to house knocking, selling religion, part of peddling? And that was a good question, okay? So it falls into a very gray area when you say peddling deal. But we do need to look at this, and I think maybe we need to table it and work on it a little bit more and get some more people into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, Mayor, in response to one of Mr. Resti's comments, we have one section of the ordinance that says this ordinance applies only to residential door-to-door peddling as defined. The requirements of this article do not apply to persons going door-to-door for any other purpose, such as expressing religious, political, civic, or philosophical messages, canvassing, distributing handbills, polling, pamphleteering, social conversation, and similar types of non-commercial communication.
Thank you.
So you
Yeah,
don't, if you want to
okay.
campaign door-to-door, you don't need to get a permit to do it.
Okay.
I have a
Ne-
question,
ne-
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Under the number one, then maybe BISD could apply for a general permit for their school students? I mean, they have fundraisers throughout the year, maybe we can do that, and they send it out with the parents
Yeah,
at the
Mayor,
beginning of the
because, I
year?
mean, then you're gonna have choir, band,
Yeah.
UIL, I mean, the whole
Boosters, yeah.
athletics.
Maybe we should
History
consider
club.
that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a practical matter. We could
Maybe
take
we
a look
should
at
table
that.
this and think about it.
I think what happens is when you start defining or refining it too much, then you get too restrictive, and then, there's exceptions to every exception to every exception. I would suggest, again, as public comment, that these fellows have done their research and presented to you what they feel is as least as flexible as you can work with. Now, it's up to you all as a commission to decide whether you want it or not. I would entertain a motion. Does anybody have any more public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion to
Would
close.
you close public comment?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On an action item, is there a motion to approve?
I would like to take a second look at it, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of problems digesting the fact that we're gonna
So
probably require.
what
So I
sort
want
of-
to make a motion to table
I'll
so that we can
second
look
that.
at it.
I'll second that.
With, by having closed public,
Yes, we
We
closed
did.
it.
okay.
Okay, yeah, you have to you close the public session. You now have a motion to table, and you have a second. Could I have all those in favor to table it, say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then it shall be tabled. And I would suggest, my dear commissioners, that somebody visit with these two gentlemen. We have to move on to this. I fully appreciate the idea of it has to be updated. Any tweaking that has to be done, let's figure it out and let's bring it back. I don't want this to be sitting there without getting any action. Okay?
Very good.
Thank you, sirs. Okay, item number 9, I understand was requested to be withdrawn from the attorneys for the ones that wanted to visit about this, and they had also asked if there could be a special meeting. This is having to do with the Cross Valley Pipeline Project and having to do with right-of-ways. I would suggest to the city attorney, city secretary, and city manager to visit with each member of the commission and see if what their schedules allow, if there is a special meeting, and when it could be held, because this is a matter that is time sensitive, but we'll work around it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I think public comment, Roberto, you're back on the stage.
If you want to
So
withdraw.
you do a motion to withdraw?
Second?
Item number 9 from the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 11.
Item number 11, consideration and action on resolution number 2014-030 to authorize a moratorium on the issuance of building permits and the certificate of occupancy to be used for the construction or operation of businesses designed to operate eight-liners and/or similar types of gaming devices.
Mayor, City Commission, you passed an exact copy of this resolution last April. It was an 8-month moratorium on eight-liners. I think we've all been really busy doing work, and we just need a little bit more time to get this ordinance in place. So we're requesting a 4-month extension to this moratorium, and so we request your approval tonight.
I wasn't sure we had put a time limit on it.
Yeah, it was 8 months, and it's now expired, but we want to put it in place again today for 4 months, and then we'll have the ordinance in place. So within the next 4 months, we plan on bringing you back a good ordinance that will adequately regulate these businesses.
Move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Armido. Item number, let's see, where are we?
12.
12.
Item number 12, consideration and action on resolution number 2014-029 in support of the city manager's role as the chief executive officer as authorized of the Brownsville City Charter, Article 5, Section 20, and directing that no member or members of the city commission acting in numbers less than a lawful quorum may direct the city manager to take any action regarding the use of funds without city commission members being informed of any transactions or the general business of the city at all times.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 13, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of furniture for the Brownsville Police Department.
Mayor, City Commission, this is a purchase of furniture for the Brownsville Police Department. It covers 3 offices in Patrol Division, Special Investigations Unit. We're redoing the bays for the detectives, and also Southmost. We chose 2 vendors. They're both buy board or text mass, so we're not required to get bids. They're both local vendors, and Gateway Printing, and also furniture for less. It's about $49,000, and we're using federal forfeiture funds. Just furniture for the department.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Item 14, consideration and action to award a contract for the lease of vehicles for the Brownsville Police Department.
This is we have a financial asset team that's actually going after banks, cartel money here locally, and you all approved a membership in this grant. It's a 2-year grant. Part of the grant stipulates that we can do lease vehicles for these detectives, and we're going to do 3 vehicles. We looked at proposals. This is not for bids. We went for proposals. We looked at anything from compacts to pickups. We kind of chose the SUV, and really what came down to was price. If you'll just take a look at it, we just went with the one with the best price. It's a Pathfinder, Nissan Pathfinder. Fine for what
Number
we're...
15, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
You're doing item number 15? Okay.
Yes, but we skipped
I
14.
think we skipped 14.
You skipped 14.
We're going to go back to it.
Yeah, that's
ahead
the
and-
last one. I was expecting the city
So
jail
we're on
project.
15.
15, I'm sorry.
Apologize.
They called it first.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
This is for lease vehicles,
Motion
and like I
to
said, 100%, there's no cost. This is all under grant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14 now.
Item 14, consideration and action to award a contract for jail plumbing upgrades for the Brownsville City Jail.
This is a project we've been working for 2 years. This is a big project for me personally. When we started, we were just going to do some repairs, and it turned out to give me more and more problems. And basically what we've done is we're going to redo the whole jail. All the plumbing. The building's 30-plus years old, and it's time to do some plumbing. And that replaces all pipes, fixtures to the cells, paint, everything that you can think of. We requested bids. We got 4 vendors that came in for sealed bids. 2 were non-responsive, meaning they didn't supply enough information or the right information. There were 2 very good companies we reviewed, and it really came down to price. We did our homework on this. It's a lot of money. It's $220,000 plus. We're going to be doing our repairs. We did our homework. We actually went on site to every place that they listed as a reference, and we were impressed with both companies. And it really came down to price, about a $10,000 difference, really. Both great companies. And we went with the lowest bidder on that, which would be ARCO. And this is, again, through federal forfeiture funds. We're using our drug money to pay for this.
Motion to
approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Commander, if I may real quick, Commander Pascal, I just wanted to recognize you real quick and thank you. I've been in touch with some of the kids from the Student Ambassador Program, and I was moved to tears on the impression that you've made in their lives.
We're real proud of that program with BSD. and,
You are a
you-
fantastic mentor, and I just wanted to recognize you for that, because you're a very special person.
We got some good kids. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Number 16.
Item 16, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of one new 2014 bucket truck for the Traffic Department.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. We are here tonight for the City of Brownsville 214 bucket truck that for $84.90. Funding's in place. It's going to be the truck for traffic signal station, which we need. It's this truck should be able to put us in the black for quite a while. The department will give a better service to the downtown or all around the city traffic. The cost of the vehicle is $84,090. I think we have a copy of the picture of it. I'm not quite sure. That's okay. Well, funding is in place for this. It's
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. Second.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.